So we're now opening the discussion for public comments not on the agenda. Danny Washington is here, who has a project. Would you stand up and introduce yourself and tell us about your project?
So I was here at the last meeting with Danny, and basically we were talking about a lot of the environmental issues that we're dealing with on the oceanfront walk, whether it's trash, how do we mitigate all of that? So one of the ideas is to possibly do a small concert series in the spring/summer, right on the roads, little rose concrete slab, and create something where our community can raise awareness not only about the pollution, but specifically about the urban runoff that's coming in from Rose Ave, as the last urban runoff pipeline that is still putting tons of pollution into the bay, and needs to be fixed. So using concert series, music, art to create this movement, to talk to the community about it, so we can get some movement as far as legislation is concerned to fix it.
Right.
So that's the initial pitch. There's no skeleton just yet, but it would be.
I thought
we discussed it.
Exactly the same.
We did. We discussed it, but we never created an agenda. It never was officially on the agenda, and we never made a motion to bring it before the VNC. So what I'd like to do is put that on the calendar for the November Oceanfront Walk Committee meeting to make a motion to bring the concert series before the VNC. Have you come up with a name for a concert series?
Not yet.
Okay.
But it would probably involve the Rose Ave, something like that. Yeah, music on road, something funky.
Will you have that ready for us at the next meeting? More details, please.
More details.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
And what is the environmental committee coming back? Let's work out, we'll come up with that.
Okay, question.
What's that?
I'm the co-chair of the environmental committee, so let's work together out.
Awesome.
I say the same thing for the arts committee.
Yeah, I'll bring it all together.
Look at this collaboration we got going on here. Representing.
So I have a question. As a resident of a walk street that gets a loud noise, what is the series?
The series would be, essentially it would be like a monthly series. So one Saturday out of the month. And
Saturday out of the month.
Yeah, and so we target
summer?
Beginning like end of spring into summer. So just into while daylight savings time is happening. And it would actually be during like the late afternoon. So we figured it would be nice to do from like maybe 3 till sunset, and that's it.
Okay, and I made a suggestion, which I don't know if you liked it, was it faced the ocean.
Yeah.
They started doing that at the pier rather than this way.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful.
Then if we vote on the motion, then should we pass it to your committees to vote on, and when are your meetings before we bring it in front of the VNC? Because then we have all 3 committees behind it, and we've got a good chance. So when are your meetings?
Helen can answer the question. I think he's uniquely able to answer the question of whether or not what the deal is on collaborating committees.
We totally can collaborate with committees.
Right.
What you do is you just talk to each other, you can set a special meeting with only just 24 hour notice if you want. Let's say it's a special meeting, and we're all getting together in this location, blah, blah, blah. 3 days is better. And then we all put a motion together, the 3 of you together, if you agree, put a motion together, and I think that when 3 committees come before the VNC, probably the board would be more likely to vote positively on that, although the last meeting didn't bear that out when 2 committees came before us and we voted to no. So
But we bring the motion before the Oceanfront Walk Committee.
no, the motion would be the art, economic, environment, arts, and oceanfront walk. Get together, have a joint meeting, write a motion, or we want this series thing. Then you present that as an agenda request to the board.
Doesn't need to go through this committee to get to
No, because you're part of the oceanfront. You guys are all 3 collaborating.
It can.
They can, but if you want to speed it up, you just do it all together.
Okay, well, this is
So we can essentially have one meeting.
That's why that's why I call you Ivan.
And what I would suggest is that we also have the environmental committee.
That is nice. He knows a lot of stuff.
So that
Exactly.
it's not just the art and the music or the music series, but it's sort of a beach cleanup.
We will organize a thing before and after.
Yeah.
It'll be wonderful. Love.
Awesome.
And I did inquire with Hay as well and talk to them about what they've been working on.
Right.
They're going to send me more information, but they are definitely interested in maybe more of the Venice community. Because they've just been talking about, like, you know, there's so much in Santa Monica. They want to infiltrate.
Who owns that?
That's great.
The city of Los Angeles.
No, LA Public Works owns
Yeah.
it, and that's who they need to get the
It's,
permit from.
yeah,
I have
it's
all.
ugly.
Pardon me?
Okay, it's ugly, that needs to be.
Yeah. Well, this is part of beautification, right?
They're beautiful.
Well, with the arts committee, we can do it as an art project.
Yeah.
We can paint it up, maybe,
Yeah.
or do something with it.
Yeah.
Better spending the 1.2 million.
Maybe we can paint it up before the event,
Yes,
so that we
absolutely.
actually, like, the first event is already painted.
Just tossing it out there,
Yeah.
the equinox is the 21st, 22nd of March, which would be Saturday.
Oh, that's great.
You might want to shoot for
The
that.
spring equinox,
Yeah.
summer, June 21st. Yeah.
Because you know what? The area does not need summer weekend events.
Okay.
Cruise, right,
Yeah,
right. That's
People
right.
who do events, hey, come here on August Saturday. Yeah, like, that's great. That's a great idea. Do it in springtime. Let's do it in springtime. We don't need more people here in July and August.
I have one and people that are already here.
Oh, everyone's here. Everyone's here. This March, April, May. Everyone's here.
What date, sorry, did you say?
I'm saying the 22nd, March 22nd, 21st, 22nd.
March 22nd, the spring equinox, that's great. All the
Yeah.
people come.
Thank you very much, Danny. We're very excited to see at our next meeting, with your results of your in-depth research and study.
I'll
Let
talk
it
to
go.
my committee meeting on the 7th, on this
Smart.
coming Monday, and on the November, let's have a joint meeting.
Yeah, it's only about advancing the
And that's
ideas,
still
you know?
4 or 5
Read
months.
many again. It's time
And
to
can I
watch it.
ask one question that I just thought of
What?
with this whole safety
No.
meeting today? So, we didn't think about this, but these are the things in the public safety assessment that we made recommendations. The Rose Avenue here is not safe.
No.
It's totally dangerous. There's not secure anything around there, so we're talking about
assessment.
public safety
It's
for
better
this
spending the
assessment.
1.2
Could that be one thing that we recommend that they also include in the public safety assessment? I think so.
It's an interesting thing to put forward. I mean, I think everybody's going to be focused on the boardwalk itself and like whether people are getting run over by segways or not, you know. But I mean, and you know, sand on the boardwalk, and I mean, I don't know. There's a lot.
Well, when
You're right. There's a
someone
million
falls off
aspects of
that and dies,
public safety.
They
You know.
fall off, that someone
Or
gets
like
pushed
Therese
off.
said, you know, that's where beautification and environment and public safety all come together. So it's hard to, you know. So yeah, I think it's absolutely. Why not talk about it? You know.
One of the recommendations.
Awesome.
So in the meantime,
So-
before our joint meeting, I'll be putting together all the resources. I'll get put the list up and look at.
I'll copy all of you guys.
Yeah. You could send me something by Monday too.
Yeah.
Give me my card.
Okay.
Danny Washington joint meeting. Okay, good. Any other public comments? Yes, sir.
I had sent an email to the committee and to the PNC. They sent a letter to Councilman's office regarding the grassy knolls that separate the bike path from actual oceanfront walk. I wanted to know if there's been any response to the letter.
I don't know.
I
don't know the answer.
I
You?
have a comment on that. Mark called me, and at the last meeting, we all talked about recommendations for how we would like to see the zip line money spent. And so we sent those recommendations from what everyone said at the meeting to Mark, and then he called me this week, and we just didn't have time at this meeting, but I'd like to put it on the next agenda, which was all those recommendations that we made. He made suggestions to me on how we could break them down into motions and then put them before the PNC. For example, the grass was one, the knolls was one, that our committee could do, the public parks and rec, using a portion of the 1800 building as a tourist resource. So we need to do that at the next meeting, and I'll make a note, but someone needs to help write those motions to break
Just as
that
a point
down.
of order though,
Yeah.
the problem I'm talking about
Yeah.
is hundreds of thousands, if not millions of
Oh,
dollars
yeah.
to fix. So any revenue from the zip line is going to be
Well, why don't you just encapsulate your letter? Go ahead and just give us a brief version of what
Well, the
you.
letter was sent to you, and it was sent to the VNC. Basically, what the letter talked about was the knolls between the bike path and the oceanfront walk, how they deteriorated. And I sent pictures. Pictures were attached, and it showed, if anyone of you go on the bike path, you'll see that what used to be grassy is now sand, and the sand is spilling over onto oceanfront walk at particular properties. The sand has eliminated any access from the bike path to the handball courts or various other places we used to have exit and entrance onto oceanfront walk. And this has been deteriorated now for at least 3 or 4 years. It's gotten to the point now where if you don't do anything about it, it's going to be even worse. And what the problem is a liability question. If you're on the bike path with a kid and one of those plastic things that people put their kids in, and there's sand on there, and the person crashes, you're going to have a real liability question. And even though the county does the cleaning of the bike path, which is their responsibility, because the sand is just there and there's no grass on top of it, it just continues to accumulate during the day. So you can do it all day long, it's not going to change the problem, which is to restructure that area between the bike path and oceanfront walk. And like I said, I sent a letter to you as chairman of this committee, and also sent one as a member of the
We've been talking
VNC.
about that.
Yeah.
We've been talking about that.
Oh, you got it.
Well, even before your letter.
Okay.
So I do want to comment on that, and my comment is this. So we have prevailing northwesterly winds that, come down from Alaska, and so almost without exception, except for when we have Santa Anas, but almost without exception, that wind is all coming from one direction, and it's blowing sand from the northwest first onto the boardwalk, right? And so you get berms on the boardwalk. Then it'll blow. When it blows harder, it blows up against the boardwalk, because now that I would only use a different word than you said. You said deterioration of the grass. It's actually increasing in size, right? Those mounds are just getting, those grassy knolls are just getting taller and taller as the sand builds up, and that grass keeps building up higher and
Actually,
higher.
Bristol is depressed. What's happening is you have large segments of mountains of sand. What's happening is Parks and Recreation or the county is taking the sand and putting it back in the middle. And then what happens is if it's wet, it stays, but if it's a dry day, it just goes back to where it shouldn't be.
Right.
The problem is the deterioration. The problem isn't winds or sand driving up and down that path now for 25 years.
Right.
It's in the worst condition it's in now that's
Right.
ever been in the history of the bike path.
Right.
So all I'm saying is that since there's all this focus on oceanfront walk and maintenance,
Right.
we have a new councilman,
Right.
we have all this focus, I mean, there needs to be a real
Right.
plan, and the
Yeah.
thing is just that the city of Los Angeles
Right.
is responsible, not the county. The county's only responsible for the maintenance of the beach, that's it, and the bike path. Everything east of the bike path
Right.
is the responsibility of the city.
Right.
So what really needs to happen here is a collaboration between Zev's office and Bonden's office to come up with a plan to fix those grassy knolls. Because
Right.
the longer it takes, and I urge you to go down there and just walk down it.
Every day
About
I'm there.
35 to 40% of it is now just sand that's just going this way, deteriorating on both sides.
Yeah.
And what you have is, if you remember years ago, there was a sprinkler system that you saw. Now all you see is open piping.
They're all destroyed.
And they're all destroyed.
Yeah.
And at night, if you go down there right now,
Yeah.
the water's shooting up.
Yeah,
up the
right.
lake.
Then not to mention it's an incredible waste of water. So what my proposal that I would love to put before the city is actually another berm on the outside of the bike path. Another knoll, because that's what has when in the winter when they take the bulldozers and they make that huge berm of sand. Well, that's to keep it, to keep some kind of a barricade so that it doesn't all wind up on the boardwalk and up against the building. And then, for several years they've done what we call in Colorado snow fences, which is where they do those rows of fences that try to keep the sand off of the bike path and the boardwalk. But all of those are really temporary. So I want to see another another hill on the outside, on the beach side of the bike path, using natural grasses like pampas grasses and grasses that can virtually live with no water, unlike the grass that they've got on the knolls right now, and that will build up and protect, the bike path, so that bikers don't have to, run over
This is a lot of
the pedestrians.
I mean, and it starts at the Venice Pier and Venice.
Yeah,
You know, at
yeah.
the Santa Monica border.
Okay.
And it's just getting worse.
I'm sorry that your email got lost in the shuffle, and I thank you for coming. And I will dig it out, and I think Melissa, let's make sure that we continue that is a continuing item on the agenda, because that's something we're talking about, and and that should also be on the mobility and beautification, and those should be brought up at all those town halls, because there's a lot of people. A lot of what we talk about in this meeting is how do we keep the bicycles off the walking path, and how do we keep the walkers off the bike path, and if they were, it may be time for a widening of the bike path.
Well, I was going to say, to be honest with you, that bike path, which was set up about 35 years ago, really
Yeah.
needs to be replaced right now.
Yeah,
That's
another
a big-
double
that's a
wide.
bigger conversation.
yeah. Now you got quad bikes, and now you got electric,
Double wide.
dragsters, and
Yeah.
and on and on. So great, thank
I like
you.
the fact that you guys do a public dialogue on Venice and the town halls, and I think that should be ongoing.
Awesome, thank you.
Double wide on the bike
I
path.
think you should
Any other
bring
public
it up
comments before we wrap it up?
Public safety town hall, it's public safety that this
Yeah, I
bike
have a
path
comment.
is safe, And these are topics that don't directly affect people driving on the boardwalk, but I don't think we should have a focus of the public safety town hall be solely about people driving on the boardwalk, which is
I
not
didn't
the
say that.
issue. No, not that you did, but that is what they did this report for. And
That's
so
a-
we have to remind them that it's for public safety as a whole.
Exactly what he just mentioned is a public safety issue. If you got bike, there's a woman who was in my restaurant the other day that had surgery. She had a zipper right here. She fell on the bike path because of sand on the bike path, and had majorly broke her arm. I mean, it was serious injury. So it's no joke. It's absolutely public safety. I don't know. Carl.
Just want to give you a little update on the Warm Bag and Tag. We're getting ready to implement it. Got the funds raised, got the trailer set, got a little hiccup, I think, probably with Mike Bonan's office. I met with Mike and Lori from the Teen Center. He said, okay, reach out to VHC, Venice Housing Council, for a voluntary component. I did. They're on board. We're on board. Anybody who can call Bonan's office and say we really need to get these programs going would be helpful. I talked to Cecilia, and she's like, well, we're waiting for the city attorney. I don't buy it. Something's going on, and not sure, but I'm getting pressure too from the people that donated the 20 grand, saying you guys were supposed to be launching in June, and we had the money raised in June, and now here we are in October.
So the one is up,
I don't know. We're trying to clean up the boardwalk. There's a lot of storage stuff out there at night, and then everybody comes back, 5 o'clock in the morning, and and our feeling is, and law enforcement feels, that if they could just remove all of that stuff, that it would move a lot of the criminal element off. It would certainly be a lot prettier. Yesterday, thousands and thousands of people go right down Abbot Kinney. I drive down Abbot Kinney this morning. It's pristine.
yeah.
Pristine, cleaner than in here, and this is clean. Average weekend on the boardwalk, you walk down the boardwalk, it looks like a war zone.
I walked there, that's what I said, I saw more cops at the Gate Festival yesterday than I ever seen. With all the fashion pieces walking up and down Abbot Kinney, I saw more cops over there than I ever seen.
And they had no incidents, it was a great event. And so, anyway, short answer is, we'd like to clean up the boardwalk a little bit. There was originally, they said, well, we don't have the money to operate this program. which allows the items to be, first there's community outreach, and the guy is warned, you leave your stuff here overnight, it's going to be gone. Then they tag it. Then they come and they bag it up in the following morning after, if they leave it there. And then it goes to storage for 90 days. They can retrieve it. They know exactly where it is. We have a storage trailer ready. So it's, very methodical. It's over off of Abbott Kinney at the street and sanitation yard there.
Good.
So we're ready to go, but I don't know, somebody just has to pull the trigger and connect the dots.
I mean, if they haven't helped you push it through by the time you do this public safety town hall, I think that should absolutely be included too in the recommendation, but that's not in this assessment. It's for public safety, that there's not large items, that you can leave large items at the airport to get them out of there, so I think it should be.
You leave a package like this at the airport, and in about 3 minutes, it's a whole bomb shutdown.
Right. Right. I think we need. Any other public comments? Okay, so we'll take public comments from the committee. Gail?
Yeah, just two things. One is, because we talk about sometimes the tourists know what's going on. So my son-in-law has a friend, his name is Wardell, I don't know his last name. He publishes something called Map Hawk. I don't see Venice Ale House on here, but I see Danny's Deli and everything.
Whose burger is that?
At 26 Beach. Anyway, he puts it up so you can pick, it's a big thing that opens up. We talked about that, right? Yeah, it's great. It has all those shops and he puts it in all the restaurants and cafes.
Okay, you can also get a direct card. That's where I got it.
Is
So
it
what's the
only
point?
advertised businesses though?
Yeah.
What's the
There's a
point, Gail?
map. I don't know. What did this once come up?
Collaborate with him.
Just as another, because at one point there was a discussion about whether or not there was enough sort of maps or, like if somebody knew how to do that. There's that, there's Venice Paparazzi, there's a few of them out. I just didn't know if you were making a specific point about how this one was different or better or
And I like
something.
that Venice Paparazzi. It's good.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
just
like
letting us know that one's available.
Yeah,
Can I
okay,
see it?
and I'm gonna, no, and then,
Can't see it?
I'm gonna say something that has nothing to do with anything, but it's a little comic relief, it'll take a minute. But it involves a half block off the ocean. Now, one of my neighbors was having a party. My neighbor was having a party Saturday, more like a rave, speakers, but I'm trying to tolerate things, but I could feel it like in my house.
Vibrating through your soul.
It sounds sexy, but it wasn't. It was coming up through the cushions. It wasn't a good feeling. But I just want to tell you something funny. I thought I was the only one, but I was very good. I didn't complain. But I heard from 6 of my neighbors just now who all complained. And someone called the police. And you know what the dispatcher said? Well, Venice is a party town.
Yeah, you know what?
Venice is a party town.
That is the way they treat us. They treat us like they will not enforce the law.
Yeah, there is no enforcement. We need to get Captain Peters here. That's what we need to get
I
over.
gotta find out what number they call.
That's
what we need to get
That
over
makes
here.
me crazy.
Okay. Matt, public comment?
He's a man.
I don't have to comment.
There has been a volunteer committee formed from various groups like this, where Venice Beach is going to be getting dedicated Proposition K money. And the Bureau of Engineers has this funding. It's about $1 million worth of funding. And they're overhauling all the bathrooms. Their target is December.
Wait, say that again?
So, Cecilia from the councilman's office, and thank her for this next time you see her, because this was her doing. She applied for a Proposition K grant. And so funding is available. And they have formed a small volunteer committee to get input. They invited me to be on that committee, and I want to invite all of you to share any thoughts and feelings and goals that you might have about
Clean bathroom.
improving the facilities of the public bathrooms of Venice Beach. Now, they're not adding capacity, they're upgrading all of the facilities. So if anybody has any thoughts about the bathrooms of Venice Beach, share them with me and consider me your representative when that committee meeting is.
And that is those self-cleaning ones like they have in here. Like in San Francisco and Embarcadero.
And pay for them.
Get rid of
What?
the
That's my
homeless
point.
people
Pay
that
back.
ruin them,
No.
and the
Yeah.
bathrooms, all the bathrooms will be fine.
Bureau of Engineering.
I know, they've had them in France forever.
The
They
big
should have to
12
pay.
by,
When
when,
I'm in Orange, you have to pay 25 cents.
stainless steel, 12 by 6,
Operator.
bathroom.
Beautiful, sort of French looking, but they have different models.
What do you want, a bidet now?
No, I just wanted to know. No, they're back.
You need to
So I
get
can
rid
go
of
to the beach.
the homeless people that destroy it. That's the problem.
I understand that, but
You can make it as nice as you want. When all the tourists leave, when the sun goes down, and all the homeless people are gonna go there and blow up the bathrooms and live in there and sleep in there and change in there, they're gonna look just like they do now, no matter what you put there. That's the issue.
Cleaning back,
No,
self-cleaning.
And then I'll have access to
close the door, and
no.
they sanitize and stuff.
No.
They're not cheap, but they're all over in France.
I wonder if you could have a timer on the
San
door,
Francisco.
so they can only stay locked for a certain period of
That's
time.
Well, again,
San
it's all-
Francisco timer.
Huh?
On San Francisco self-cleaning
Lock
bathroom,
upgrades.
there's some sort of monitor where you
And it's
go
like-
in, and
it's
it's
not
like
like
you've
you're
been in
in
there
5
for
You got 10 minutes if you can't do your business. In 10 minutes, you're out.
and then it cleans it, yes.
No,
Then it
my
cleans
friend
you.
lives in
Wash-
Paris.
It opens the door,
Flush, you get flushed.
and it cleans
My
it.
friend
Awesome.
lives in Paris and a baby drowned.
Self-cleaning, San Francisco model?
And they've been banned in many cities. They're
San
dangerous.
Francisco has some great ones, so I
San
like
Francisco
them.
is so far.
They do have ones that I don't think are exactly the same as that. I know
like
on
to
Skid Row
suggest-
downtown.
So that's
Okay, moving on, please,
They're taking
Therese.
them away
Okay,
from them.
Oh, they
I would
did?
like to suggest, since beaches and harbors, while they're not directly involved with the park, are involved with a neighbor aspect of it, and perhaps someone from Yaroslavsky's office should be invited to these panels, booths, whatever, at the town hall.
Excellent.
As a
Office is
courtesy.
that? 'Cause my computer's about to
Zev
die.
Yaroslavsky's office invited to the town hall.
How do you spell his name?
It's a
Zev?
long one. Put a Z.
right at the alley.
Yes, Zev's office.
His picture on
Great, thank you,
website's
Therese.
like this, like I'm getting out.
Okay.
I'm doing things.
And thus concludes the October Venice Neighborhood Council Oceanfront Walk Committee meeting on September 30th. Thank you, meeting adjourned.
Please.
Good job, guys.
Whatever they want.
Zev's office.
Get rid of the homeless people, and you'll get nice.